President CDPR. Dr. Ajay Dua, former Commerce Secretary, is also live with us. Dr. Samyak Munot, Vice President, IYNS Research Foundation, is joining us live. Ravi Kumar Gupta, former DRDO scientist, is also with us now on the broadcast. Dr. Bhattacharya, after the Shanti Act, what more can the government do for this crucial sector?
Yeah, as you mentioned, this is a very risky sector from the perspective of the private sector, because there has been a history of distrust. And so more needs to be done to build the trust, because the investments required are quite significant. It will be upwards of $500 million per SMR. And there isn't any precedence in that sense, globally speaking. There's no large scale precedence to replicate from. So in a way, if the Indian sector takes off, it will be a pioneer. And therefore, the government's expectation that India will be in the center of the global SMR industry is quite rightly placed in that sense. But much more needs to be done than just the PLI, as there is a significant financing and risk sharing issue involved. What if something goes wrong? There needs to be a sovereign viability support. We have seen cases where the government did guarantee the offtake, but that was not followed up subsequently for whatever reason. And hence there is a history of the government reneging on its commitment, and that will hang like a Damocles sword when the private sector tries to go out and get funding for future SMRs. And therefore, some kind of a mechanism has to be created so that it is easy for the private sector to get the capital. In addition, there needs to be a domestic manufacturing and supply chain build out. Companies like L&T have been involved in some way and means for the nuclear power plant buildings and the equipment. But what we are going to witness is a larger share of the nuclear plant coming to the private sector. And therefore, there is much more capacity building that is needed. And that's the kind of capacity building that's happening globally. So it's not that it's readily available elsewhere. Having said that, we also need to keep in mind that India already has the expertise in creating small nuclear power plants for the submarines, for the nuclear submarines. So that's an expertise that can easily be shifted. And so again, there needs to be a mechanism to transfer that expertise from the defense / whichever entity build it up back to the private sector. Along with it also goes the issue of skilling. We have very limited skills in this country for the kind of build out that we are envisioning. And again, this country has been pretty good at large scale skill development. We have seen that happening in IT when companies like NIT came in and developed the skills at a large scale. So I'm pretty sure that will happen, but it needs to be done. And I hope the budget kind of addresses that requirement and gives some kind of a incentive for large scale skilling. And finally, also the issue of an assured supply of uranium and the fuel cycle issue. Because we got limited uranium in this country, so deals like the Canada-India deal will go a long way in ensuring that there is fuel security and fuel available for the plants that get built out. And also we need to be keeping in mind what is the kind of oversight that the government will be enforcing, because that oversight will either ensure that there is efficiency maintained in the SMRs, or it might play a deadening hand. But that oversight is important, so the right balance for the oversight will be very, very critical. So if some of this can be addressed in the budget, that will go a long way in giving the right kind of push for this sector.
Yes, indeed.